G'day and welcome to another episode. My name is Daethstro, the Aussie Geek, and today we will be looking at the Combiner Wars Scrapper. So for starters, I put a poll up, no one responded on, not overly surprised, and the choices were that I was going to do a Combiner episode of a Combiner series either on Combiner Wars Devastator or Constructicons or Power of the Primes Predaking Predacons. And since no one responded, I flipped a coin and I ended up with the Constructicons. So for starters, this will be 7 weeks of Constructicons. So starting with Scrapper here, going all the way up till we get to Devastator. Providing that is that no other figures show up in the middle of it. Each character will do all 3 modes. With the combined mode completed in Devastator episode. Also, each of these characters technically don't have their own individual accessory. They're all sort of mix and match, so it's up to you. So when we get to Long Haul, we might have a look at all the accessories. You can arm each of them with it if you want, but there's nothing specific. So here we go. Here is Scrapper. Now, normally I would say do the leader last, but unfortunately in this case, the leader is a leg. So we need to get at least him done first. So here he is in his bulldozer mode. This is the Hasbro version. I do not have the Takara version. I do not have the Unite Warrior version. And you'll notice that when we get to Mixmaster. But he does look good. I want to say he, there's like 3 times I just tried to say that and didn't want to come out. I want to say him and the Constructicons really got me into getting more of the Titans. When I got Metroplex, it was sort of, yeah, I'll get that. And then when I found out the Combiner was doing Devastator, I got him and I've got all the rest of them ever since. Well, except for Cybertron, Metroplex, and I am attempting to eventually get the Guardian version of Omega. So there's that. So here he is here. Plastic tires, nothing rubber. Does look good. He does have some articulation in this mode. You can lift his scoop up and down. You can flip it back, but that's more for looking into combine mode. So there we go. He does look good. Now, when I get to the articulation, you're going to hear 1 or 2 things that pretty much every single one of these has with an issue, which we'll get to in a second for those of you who don't know. But let's get down to size comparison. So here he is with Windblade. I don't know why he's crooked. Something's not tapped in right, or something's sitting wrong. Oh, by the way, yeah, you can see most of him under there. So there he is. He's a little bit skinnier than she is. If you bring the scoop out, he's longer, and probably easier to do it this way. He's a bit taller than she is. Yeah. I always figured length. Width, that's what it was. I always do length twice. So obviously with her wings, she's wider. Alright, so let's get down to transformation. It's not too hard. It's pretty easy. It's nice. Yeah, it's nice, honestly. Alright, so first things we're going to do is we're going to untab his arms here. Next, we're going to flip up and down the front of his feet, like so. They do tab in here and here, and even though this one didn't really hold it, these tab into these ports here. We can then roll the back of his legs down. Just lean those forward a little bit, because those are then going to go into those tabs, those ports, which I pointed out before, to tighten his legs up. And of course, you slide. You don't pull, you slide, because this sort of has a curved grip. So you have to slide it out to split his legs. Get him under here and flip his hands out like so. Then we can come back here. We're going to flip it down and we're going to flip it up and sort of snap into place. Well, whatever you want to call it. Then grab the top of his head full up until you hear a click. And there is Scrapper in his robot mode, and he looks beautiful. I will say it for the Constructicons, even though it's going to have some issues that I'm going to point out, they look amazing. The torso, the head look amazing. The legs, the arms, iffy at best, but that torso, that head looks amazing. And so the one thing I love these guys for, apart from the combined mode, is their torso and head. Just stunning. Really, really stunning. And he has a couple of gaps here. Whatnot. Whoops. Stand you off a little bit better. So yeah, he does look nice. So as for articulation, head can turn a full 360. It can look up a little bit, look down a little bit. It's sort of on a ball joint, so you can go side to side. Arms can do a full 360, even though it will. Oh, pull it in a little bit further. Try that again. Can go a full 360, although you may hit that scoop. It does go back and forwards. We do have, let's call it elbow rotation, because it's definitely not bicep, otherwise it'd be up here. He has no elbow bend. His hands go in and out, but that's more for transformation. So there's no wrist bend, no fingers. He does have a waist, so to speak. He does have side to side, at least one side, if you find a use for that, and we'll get to that why. Arm can go out that far, leg can go out that far, leg can go forward that far. Leg can go all the way back. It's always nice when these have a backwards movement. He has hip rotation. He doesn't have thigh. He does have single jointed knee that gets you that far. You have ankle tilt that only gets you that far. So there is that. All right, let's get the first of my issues out of the way. Even though the proportions are too bad, the arms are the forearm's too short, and there's no bicep. So that's the forearm. The forearms specifically are the biggest problem. They're all too damn small, so they get worse. Long hauls is a joke, and I want to say either Mixmaster or Hook has the worst. So proportions wise, these could have been a little bit longer, but I do know it hinders the transformation if it would. So I'm curious to see how a third party does it, whether or not I will eventually replace them with that third party. So there we go. So since we have to get this guy into combined mode, and I do keep saying that I want to show it so you can see him, get them back into the original vehicle mode. Thankfully, most of these combiners, you do have to partially get your way to vehicle mode. So let's start with that, and then we can go into combined mode. Oh, can't do that yet. We need a size comparison. Here he is with MP10. So he's about, give or take, up to Prime's rib. That's probably the best way to put it. So there we go. Alright, back to vehicle mode and then to combined mode. So we're going to compress the head down and fold in the hands, and we'll leave that for the time being. We're going to grab the scoop. That's going to pop back and pop out. You can lock that into place like that, but it just looks weird, so I'd rather not. Just leave it sort of loose. Then we're going to peg that together again. So that way when we release the front of the feet, or the front of the shins, that's all one piece. That slides all the way up. And then we could bring this in, as I said, that's going to go into here and collapse the feet as, where is it? That goes into here, like so. And then we can bring these in. There is a tab here and a port. Where I suppose you'd say it's in just in that little bit there. And that just plugs in and just squeeze the arms tight against the body. And there he is, back in vehicle mode. Oh, one last thing also, I do not have the upgrade kit for this. So Mixed Master, I have issues with his look, and I don't have the finger articulation. Unfortunately, both him and Predator King, I missed out on getting the upgrade kits for. But that's neither here nor there. So let's get this guy into combine mode. So once again, we're going to use that tab that I said we weren't going to use, because we're going to need that for the front scoop. We're going to untab his arms. We're going to rotate both ways and just sort of press them into the body. Then what we're going to do is we're going to flip the hands out, and we're going to flip it back. So we're kind of making his heel. We're then going to rotate to it's about there, and there's sort of what would you call it? Sort of a pair of teeth that go over to the gap, and you know it's in the right spot. So then we're going to get, where is it? This sort of tab here is going to scoop up into here, and that will lock the scoop into place. But we're not quite done yet. What we're going to do is we are going to rotate the canopy, so that will lock this into place. Now none of that's going to separate. Last but not least, we're going to use those feet again and flip them up all the way, and they are going to eventually become his locking points. So there we go. Now, as for articulation, just for the sake of making it easier for later, we have an ankle tilt. He is technically the ankle more than the whole leg. So that hip that we didn't get much out of, there is your ankle. In, out, in, out. Now, it doesn't go the other way. So if you were hoping to make Scrapper the left leg, you can. You're just not going to be able to use the ankle tilt properly. So there we go. And of course, eventually the knee works in there, but that'll be all locked in place. So there we go. So he is nice and secure-ish and whatnot. So there is the start of Devastator. As for size comparison, right now, there is Prime next to Devastator's leg. So there we go. So there we are. So I hope you will all enjoy the start of Combiner Wars Devastator. And maybe eventually I'll have another vote, maybe for Predator King again. Probably not, because then I'll start getting my Zetas deconstructed. But like I said, these guys will stick around until either I've completed Devastator again or another figure comes out. I know I've got a thrust that I'm waiting for it to arrive at the site, at the website I'm getting it from. So I don't know when that's going to happen. But I think that's pretty much it. I'm still waiting for Jazz whenever that happens. So yeah. So if you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you didn't like this video, give me a thumbs down. I promise you it will not hurt my feelings. Subscribe, ring that bell, leave me a comment. Let me know. Do you like Devastator? Do you like Scrapper? Leave it in the comments. But thanks for watching. I'll catch you later.